video that shows a hamster. I understand you have a recent video that shows a hamster in a boat in a jacuzzi.
Yes, I do have a video of a hamster in a boat that I made myself, and he is actually a floating hamster in a boat.
Besides the comedy every Father's Day, I did bring my sons into the KBC studio, and that all was possible before the coronavirus. And they would tell us what their profession was going to be. And 2 years in a row, Brandon said his profession was going to be a carpenter. And I'm not going to ask him what he thinks his profession should be now, because we're going to save it, and we might do a little Father's Day update. The other son, I'm not sure he wants to be in physics anymore, and he kept saying that. So in real life, I am a real workplace lawyer. As you know, I'm licensed in 4 states. I have quite a few offices throughout Southern California. And you should keep that in mind too, because you might need to hire me as an employment lawyer. You can call 877-525-0700. That's my office, 877-525-0700. Write that down. But again, we're not going anywhere. We're just going to be on the internet maybe for 2 or 3 weeks, and we're going to pick it back up on a major LA radio station that has really high ratings. I mean, KBC is good, and it's a good place for talk radio. It's a good place to start. But if you have a show like mine that has a significant internet audience and is scripted in a way that, a lot of people talk about Seinfeld, and I don't know, guys. They had a lot of writers. I write these myself, and I think my stuff is definitely on par, if not funnier, than a lot of the stuff they had on that show. And so when you got a show like this, it's going to move up. Tonight, we have, as I explained a minute or two ago, a really full cast of characters. You're going to hear a lot of the characters on the show. It's a show finale, and it's not scripted. I apologize for that in a way. In a way, I don't, because the actors that came on are really great. And there's one guy who didn't make it. The imposter didn't make it onto the show, and I wish he did, because these 6 people have been on a lot of the shows. They've made the show, and the show wouldn't be what it is without them. And I just thought they were going to come on and say something for a minute or two. And I was going to talk about how the show's ending on KBC and how great KBC had been to me. But a lot of them wanted to stick with the program the whole time we were recording, and I didn't expect that. And some of them came up with some funny things to say. It isn't scripted. I don't think I would do a non-scripted show a lot. I'm afraid in some respects a few characters, one in particular, was a little bit outside his character. And that's one of the problems with unscripted. We had one really early on, the cosplay robot episode. And that one was a very early episode with Mistress Luboff, who's really Cindy D, who sexually harassed a cosplay robot on the Remus Helms cosplay ostrich ranch. And that's when it became a cosplay ranch, I think. It hadn't been a cosplay ranch before that. And that one we ran out of content, and we had a real famous voice actor who's in movies, like real famous. And we ran out of content because I didn't know how long I had to write these for, because it was one of the, first 2 or 3 I did. Maybe it was the second one I did that was scripted. And so there was some improv, and that was a long time ago, and I kind of remembered that and said, I don't know if I want to do that again. And so I think it's important when you have characters that it isn't complete improv always. It was fun, and I think I'm going to use some of the things to turn this around, because you're going to find Remus Helms aligning a little too closely with the guy who is tying up the White House. But I think I know how I'm going to handle that. Nizuki's curbside service for neuromassages you're going to hear about tonight, that is definitely in line with that character. So listen tonight. Again, we're not going anywhere, and the people that have been on a lot of these shows and played a lot of the characters, they're not going anywhere either. And they're going to be with me on another radio station that is really a much more major station than KBC. KBC is really the top station in the 70s, even to the 80s, and it's changed. It's conservative now, and I thought it was kind of funny that I was on conservative talk to begin with when I'm bashing Trump and bashing the Republicans all the time. And it was kind of cool that the show was on there. And I just would say that I'm really thankful for KBC giving me the opportunity to start the show, giving me the artistic freedom they did. They didn't write the show, they didn't get the music for the show, they didn't get the actors, they didn't find the sound effects, and they didn't play the sound effects. So the show was 100% produced, scripted, directed, and written by me. And that's a big commitment, and that's not something I'd ever done before. I had a lot of experience writing. I'd written novels, thousands of articles, some short stories too, a little bit of poetry, but that's not my thing. And so I had not gone into life wanting to have a career in radio or to be an actor or anything like that. In high school, was I was known as, I was probably could have been the best. I was there in a drama class and doing those kind of things in high school, and then the speeches were very good, and that's why I wanted to become a lawyer, because my speeches was the best, and my dramatic performance was always the best, but it wasn't what I was out to pursue. I was out to pursue being a writer, and one of the ways I worked as a writer was in the legal profession because there's so much writing to do. And through the years, I'd written some novels and kept up the writing. So, this just wasn't something I set out to do, to be on the radio and have a show like this, but it turned out to be very successful and have a big internet audience and a loyal fan base. And I guess shows like this can go on for years, and so it moved up at KBC to better times, as you know. It moved up to some incredible times. The episode with the soldier who had his genital infringed, well, it wasn't infringed, it was just stolen or whatever, but that one went on after the UCLA-USC game that KBC was broadcasting, and USC won, and I can't even tell you how many people listened on the air, but a lot of people tuned in on that one on YouTube, and that's like our biggest show. It's funny and everything, but I wouldn't have expected it to be our biggest show, and it started off a storyline that went on for most of last year once it started. So it's something that I'm going to keep doing. Don't worry, the show isn't going anywhere. I have a recording studio at the office, and I have another one I've been building for a long time that actually has some very expensive soundboard. So, and very expensive insulation. Everything was done with this one to make it a studio, and it's going to be done in probably 3 weeks, a month, something like that. And so we might do some broadcasting because it looks like the show's going to be on early in the morning, probably in Los Angeles on the weekend. And so I don't know if people are going to be listening then. They might be, but I was approached to do it sort of like a morning show because there isn't really a morning show on the weekend in Los Angeles that's live, and my content is very funny, and so it's the kind of thing people could be waking up and laughing about. For me, I'm not a big wake up and laugh kind of person. It's hard for me to get up and be so spirited at 5:30 or 7, even 7 in the morning, but there is an audience for that, and if that opportunity does exist, it's something we're going to have to do. And so the show will simply be on another station. But if you're one of the subscribers on this channel, you'll get all the updates. And I think there are going to be a couple episodes. And I might just do one about Los Angeles history because I have a lot of fans for that too. And that's a lifelong hobby. And I actually am an expert on Los Angeles history. So I might do something like that without a lot of voice actors. This is all before June 1st. Presuming by June 1st, life kind of goes back to normal. It's too hard to do these shows with the coronavirus thing because at the law firm, I'm having to go in the office by myself without any help. And we had a kind of significant law firm before this whole thing. And so for me to be trying to answer all the calls for the whole law firm is just crazy. And then I'm also doing legal work on cases and trying to supervise the very limited staff of people that we have working from home. The work at home thing just didn't work for a lot of people and couldn't work. And so I'm really understaffed right now, and I'm just really having a very hard time getting through this coronavirus thing. And obviously, there are no trials going on, but the motions still have to be opposed and brought. So there's still a lot of deadlines. And besides me acting like a big secretary or paralegal or receptionist and opening the mail and doing all that kind of work, sending out my own mail, I'm actually having to do the legal work too and monitor the people that are working from home. So it's too hard right now for me to do these scripts, which is one of the reasons why I was going to take a hiatus from this. I was planning on making an immediate switch to these FM stations that want me, but that just, I think, is not the thing to do in the next 5 weeks. Like a lot of people, I just ended up having to do a lot of things that other people doing. You know, if you want to wash your car, you got to wash your own car. You got to clean your own house. You got to make all your own dinners, and it takes a lot of time just to find that food on the internet that you're hoping to get. Because I'm one of those people that is trying to act responsibly and not go out into the community. In fact, others, if I was asymptomatic or get the infection myself. So I'm following the orders of the governor and the mayor and all that, and it's just too hard to do this show because the show takes up a lot of time to write. These are scripts that would be usually written by 3 to 5 comedy writers. I guess, I'm the exceptional one, and some of these scripts are better than others. There's some filler, but definitely these are scripts that would take 3 to 5 people. I do them every week, but I can't do them during the coronavirus. And I can't go into a studio with a whole bunch of voice actors either. And I don't go to the radio station right now. I've had to record these in my own studio. And we've had to do them on Zoom, which that's why you hear bad audio. There's lag time. It's usually someone has an internet problem. That's why it doesn't sound good. And so I have a limited number of voice actors that have the right internet connection to begin with. Some of them I know are going to sound laggy, and I love them, but they don't have the right microphone at home or they don't have the right internet. And I kind of realized that once we started trying the Zoom thing. And so it just became too hard. The contract at KBC was ending. This is the last show tonight for them. And like I said, I was going to just make an immediate move to an FM station that wants me. And I'm not doing that because of the whole coronavirus thing. And I really hope that it's over with by June 1st because I do want to be back on the major radio network in Los Angeles. And I was given the opportunity to do that by two to 3 stations, and then there's some smaller ones that want the show. I got a lot of offers about things that the show could be, anywhere from like cartoons to animation to puppets to TV shows. Everyone kind of wants some part of it because they know that I'm producing phenomenal scripts, and it's the hottest and it's the funniest comedy. I mean, these comics, they say that a comic always says that they can do it better, and so maybe I really am just a natural comic. But I do think with a lot of this stand-up stuff, I don't find it very funny. It's just a bunch of bad words. It's not layered. And if you really understand these shows and you listen to the whole one that I do, they're highly layered. And the people that find this funniest are the ones that have listened to all the episodes. And there's a lot of political stuff and societal stuff in here. It's not really just about some weird person or some weird sex worker. So, people in the entertainment business heard this and they know it's something. But I think it's a radio show. I think it could be animated too. I don't know about live stuff because I don't know if anyone would, look like some of the people that are supposed to be on the show. The guy who plays Dumas is actually very muscular and not fat at all and doesn't have a loss of hair. So of that happens, and Mizuki is not Japanese. I have to tell you that too. But I think the guy who plays Dubas is half Japanese. So it's people that I would use for this show in other formats, because they're the characters. I don't think anyone else would be the same character as them. So tonight you got to listen at 7 o'clock on KBC AM790 for the last episode 107 of the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on that channel. And we're not going anywhere, guys. We're going to continue the show a little bit on the internet, then we'll be on a major FM station. So thank you for listening to the show.